Wasting absolutely no time after the presidential debate, Republicans are going right back to the Bidens on drugs conspiracy theories. We are going to discuss the absurdity of this. We're going to discuss what they actually mean when they bring this up. And we're also going to discuss Trump, which, by the way, is a very relevant discussion if you're talking about presidential candidates and substances. But before we do that, here is Republican Congresswoman Claudia Tenney on President Biden's speech about the Supreme Court's immunity ruling, going right back to the drug story.
First of all, they had to resurrect the cleanup on aisle 46, as they call it, Joe Biden's disastrous debate. And now I noticed he looked very tan. He was back on the teleprompter, and they must have given him a better concoction of whatever kind of drugs he's taking to keep him looking upright.
So there, there it is. We're going right back after the event at which Biden was very clearly not on drugs. It must have gone so poorly that they put him right back on the drugs. There are about 4 layers of absurdity here that I want to discuss. Real quick, a word from our sponsor. If you watch my show, you probably follow global politics, and maybe you're like me and you grew up playing strategy games that deal with foreign relations, battling other countries, conquering the world. Risk, the tabletop game, rings a bell. Well, now you can get the exact same fix on your phone with an awesome game for mobile and PC called Conflict of Nations. It is a free online player versus player strategy game where you choose a real country to lead. You can battle up to 128 other players in real-time games that can take weeks to complete. Use lots of different units to build an army, tanks, jets, nuclear submarines. You can declare war on your neighbors or forge alliances with friends. You can choose your own strategy. They are epic battles and take over the world. It's just a game, folks, okay? You can play with the same account on both mobile and PC. When you click the link in the description, you will get 13,000 gold and 1 month of premium subscription for free, only available for the next 30 days. The link is in the description. All right, so listen, first and foremost, if there were a cocktail of drugs that was being given to Biden to improve his performance, don't you think they would have given it to him on the night of the debate when his performance was so terrible? Now, here's the thing about these conspiracy theorists. They'll come up with one conspiracy theory. Biden's on drugs. And we go, you've not presented any evidence of that. It's not clear that there even is a drug that would do what you claim it would do to Biden. Maybe tell us what drug that would be. And they have nothing. Biden goes out there, clearly not on drugs, performs poorly. Then, after it leaks that Biden really does best between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., they go back and they go, now he's back on the drugs. And so then you go to them and you say, well, why didn't they give him the drugs when it really mattered, the debate? And now they come up with a second conspiracy. These are all special pleadings. They first start with Biden's on drugs without evidence. Then you go, well, why wasn't he on the drugs on Thursday night? They go, well, they knew that it would be too obvious to the American people if he used the drugs that night. So they took a risk and they went without the drugs on that night. But now for his regular events, he's back on the drugs. He's back on the drugs that you still can't name and have no evidence of for things very few people will see. But they opted not to use the drugs on arguably the night of the biggest political event, maybe of Joe Biden's career, if you believe that his reelection depends on that one debate. That doesn't make any sense. But there's one other aspect to this. Like, we've talked about the fact that now they need new conspiracies to justify the old conspiracies. We've already looked into which drugs. We've talked to doctors. We've talked to mental health professionals. What they claim these drugs will do, they aren't able to cite what drug would do it. But there's another thing. And there is the other perspective that it is Trump who actually uses stimulants. And in fact, this is speculation, but this is all in the realm of speculation. If you go back and watch the video from the presidential debate, you see that Trump's eyes are dilated like saucers, his pupils, 3 times the size of Joe Biden's. And we have reason to believe, based on the psychiatrists we've interviewed, that Donald Trump uses stimulants and used stimulants during the debates in 2016 with Hillary Clinton. So listen, I don't really care one way or the other. They're citing this stuff with no evidence. We have some medical professionals willing to say it kind of seems like Trump's using stimulants, but now they need conspiracies to cover up conspiracies for which they have no evidence whatsoever. And why do they do it? Because they're pathetic. And by the way, as terrible as I think Joe Biden's performance was, it's still not obvious to me that Trump wins in November. Maybe he does, but maybe he doesn't. And that shows how terrible a candidate he is. Real quick, don't forget to check out Conflict of Nations, the free online PvP strategy game. They're giving you 13,000 gold and 1 month premium subscription for free when you use my link in the description, only available for the next 30 days.